everybody, welcome to Saved Radio. This is James, and this is the Daily Grind, bringing you bits and pieces of everything under the rising sun. Joining us today, session drummer playing for Victory Worship and Mora de la Torre. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Luke Sigua. Hi, Luke.
Hello.
Kumusta?
Okay naman. Maaga pa. Pero, yeah, I really made it a point to prepare early.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I'm loving your background, by the way. It's a great studio.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It means a
Right.
lot.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about Luke's journey being an independent drummer. But before that, Luke, my first question, very important. How did you come to know the Lord as your Savior, as your personal Lord and Savior?
Okay. I was raised in a Christian family. However, you know the usual story behind people who were raised in a Christian family na parang uh how do you explain this? Like, yeah, you're Christian, but you're not really having a relationship with God. So that was me for the longest time, like from being born to up until high school or even first year college. And then yeah, I was attending church. Starting from high school, I started serving then in the music team, but I could say that I really didn't have that relationship with God. So parang ano lang, facade, ganun. And parang I saw God as like a distant thing. I don't know. There was one moment lang in my room where I just um parang I took the initiative to read the word and everything happened there. Sobrang ano eh, sobrang vague na tong moment na to pag naalala ko, pero what I really remember is the feeling of love talaga na despite how I've been, despite what I've been through, parang in-encounter ako ni God right there and then. Parang Jacob moment na how awesome is this dun sa Bethel. And that happened in my room. So I could say that was hindi siya sa church nangyari. Kasi tapos na rin ako mag-baptism nun eh. Ano na yan. Even after I was baptized, I wasn't really living a Christian life. But then, in my personal time, God encountered me. And that was first year college. So yeah, from there on, I started, for lack of a better phrase, maybe started taking things more seriously, with my relationship with God, with my relationship with people around me, and yung pagsaserve ko sa church. It wasn't that thing lang na I do for fun and even recognition, kasi being in the music team, parang that gives you the spotlight. That used to be my mindset. And man, that that's so bad. That was so bad. But yeah, parang I started to have this sense of purpose behind everything after that moment. Yeah.
Right. And sabi nga, diba, it's in the most quiet moments that we hear God most, diba?
Right.
And you mentioned that it happened in the room where, you're just alone and you know that God's there. It's a God moment that happened right there.
Yeah.
Right. So, talk to me about your drummer journey. I'm very excited for this one.
Drummer journey.
Yeah, how did it start? What was that your first instrument? And then,
Mm.
um, and then now it's your profession. Can you tell me about that?
Drummer journey. Ever since I've been hearing music all around me. My dad plays the classical guitar. My mom sings and plays the piano. My brother plays the guitar. He played the drums before me. Um, and around high school, I finally took up the drums kasi my mom it's so funny because my mom just she noticed that I really like tapping on stuff and it was borderline annoying. So sabi niya, mag-drums ka kaya? So nag-drums ako and then yeah, the rest was history. Na-inlove ako sa drums. Pero from that moment up until that was 2008,
Mm-hmm.
if I remember correctly, 2008. But I that was just a hobby for me. Something I do on the side kasi in college I took up information systems, so that's like programming and business stuff. And then after I graduated, I worked pa in the corporate industry for like 3 years, as a software developer. And all those years, drumming was like a hobby. It wasn't something I saw as something I could do as a full time thing, as a profession. But it was always there was always that idea, I could say, na I wanted to do it full time, but I'm not sure if I could because first of all, as a software engineer, medyo that gave me financial capability. But tapos pag inimagine ko yung life, parang I wasn't getting traction dun kasi. Like I wasn't recognized as a session drummer. How could I get the opportunities? So this isn't me naman saying that I thought there was no like stability in the music industry. It was more of me personally. I didn't have the opportunity. So if I took that path, I wasn't sure if I could get that traction that I needed. So kasi stable na yung life ko as a software engineer. So yeah, but it was an idea, a distant thought. But then something happened in 2016. Uh I left the corporate industry. Actually, that's hindi talaga left. uh, basta something happened, and then I parang forced to leave, ganun. And then that was a moment wherein I decided na what I really wanted to do. Crossroad ba? And then at that moment, parang it was now or never. Eh. Yun lang yung naisip ko nun. It was now or never. So why not? And it was a struggle with my parents kasi even them at first they saw it as a hobby. Music was something you can't do full time. Uh, Kasi my mom is a doctor and my dad is an engineer. So yeah, you could say there were expectations, 'di ba? Pero parang they weren't sure if music was something I could do full time. Ganun. So I told them, I gave them an ultimatum that if nothing happens within a year, sure, I'll go back to corporate. But if something happens, if I gain traction or whatever, then I'll do this all my life. And God is so faithful because things really happened in that 1 year after I decided to pursue music full time. Uh, I met a lot of people, starting with Moira. Um, and then from there, just networking, and one thing I did was really practice. Something I couldn't do when I was working full time as a corporate and when I was studying. I couldn't really do that. Practicing every day, just improving and improving, and yeah, networking and practice and being seen out there. They were really important during 1 year na I started to gain traction and gaining opportunities. And then it snowballs from there. And even now it's still snowballing. It doesn't stop. So yeah. Did that answer the question?
Yes, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah. I'm just very interested. Can you tell us more about the journey from that point, that 1 year? How did you meet Victory Worship, and
Mm,
then how did Moira and decided that you'd be in a band together?
mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, and this is a story I really like telling a lot kasi I could see God's hand moving in this. So we had I had a friend she who had a wedding, and then kami yung wedding band. I was part of the wedding band. I didn't know Moira yet, or I knew her, but acquaintances. While we were rehearsing for the wedding, one time in the studio, she passed by. Kasi Moira is a close friend of that friend who was gonna be married. So she passed by, dropped off something, and then watched a bit of the rehearsal. And then yeah, that so tapos na yun. And then we decided to have dinner after. And then while we were having dinner, she suddenly asked me, Luke, can you be my drummer? I don't know what she heard during the rehearsal that she liked, because I think I sucked back then. But yeah, she liked it and she hired me as her drummer. And that was really amazing for me, also because um months before, I remember just being in the practice room, and Moira has this song titled Love Me Instead. Good vibes siya. Tapos nagpe-play along lang ako na masarap kasi siyang tugtugin eh. And then I remember while I was playing along to that, I remember myself thinking na wow, I wish I could be the drummer of this artist. Ganun. Tapos so imagine my excitement when she asked me that if I could be her drummer. So yeah, kasi that really became a proof. Oh, wait, like a testament na like every opportunity to play, like as a musician, you really should maximize, and talagang iisipin mo anybody could be hearing you at that moment. So imagine, rehearsal lang yun. And then she passed by, Moira de la Torre passed by. And then she happened to like what she heard, and then we ate dinner after, and then she asked me to be her drummer. So parang yung turn of events, parang, what? Si God lang yun. So yeah, that's why I really like telling that story a lot. So
Yeah.
that's Moira, and ever since we've been performing together, and yeah,
Hmm.
it's been a crazy ride from 2016 to up until this moment.
Right.
It's not just a band. It's not just like we don't just play together. It's really a family. Nandun din yung best friend ko, si Jeric. Siya yung electric guitarist. So, yeah, and sobrang close ako with everyone, especially si Luis din. Grabe. Yung band ni Moira, it just started with Luis, me, and Moy. So, acoustic lang yun.
Hmm.
And then we decided to make a full band. And yeah,
Nice.
it's been like that ever since. With Victory Worship,
Yeah.
it was an audition. Uh, last year, was that last year? Yeah, last year, 2019. They called for auditions. They had they had each church, each branch make recommendations for musicians. Actually, everyone, keyboardists, singers, drummers. So they had the pastors make recommendations as to who gets to audition. So yeah, I got to audition with a lot of fellow fellow a lot of fellow music team members. So it was nerve wracking, of course. Like these were people na ever since 20, if I'm not mistaken, 2014,
Hmm.
when Victory Worship was formed. These were people I've been seeing
Yeah.
like up there, pioneering this whole thing, and I really looked up to them. Um, ang dami ko natututunan from them ever since, and they really set the standard for um, leading worship, especially inside every nation in here in the Philippines. So yeah, and it was nerve wracking, and also I felt like it was a what a privilege, because like I said, these were people I've been looking up to, and to be able to finally have the chance to audition to be
Mhm.
part of this something, of this thing. Uh, Yun. I
Yeah.
can't really emphasize how much it meant to me, at that moment. Yeah, October 30, 2019 was my first opportunity to be a part of something. That was the live recording for Hope Has Come album.
Mhm.
So yun, actually medyo short pa lang yung journey ko with Victory Worship.
Mhm.
Kasi that album live recording came a few months just after the auditions.
Mhm.
So and then pandemic happens.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah.
um, my next question is: you mentioned also about the pandemic. Ano nangyari sa as an independent artist? How is it na, how's your life's been? Siyempre, nabawasan yung mga gigs, mga shows, and then did you also do online stuff? Are you teaching online those stuff? Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, good question kasi I could speak for a lot of people when I say that it's been hard, as in it's been challenging for every musician who do this full time. Um Walang events eh. Wala na yung wala pa yung live performing. But kailangan natin mag-adapt. And that's something I've been like thinking about a lot and trying to do. First of my for During the first months of the pandemic, my mindset was to just practice, get better, and market in social media, stuff like that. Kasi I believe when the music industry comes back up, magkaka-traction yung mga tao who made a difference during the ECQ, if that makes sense. So I kept that in mind, and I just kept practicing and stuff. And then God is really faithful then during this time, because I really didn't think that I could get opportunities during this time, especially with recording and stuff like that. Kasi I've been blessed to have a recording setup here. Something I invested on 2 years ago. So, and parang fun lang siya. Like I wanted to record covers, I wanted to record myself. Kasi recording yourself is a good practice tool, like hearing back what you do, nalalaman mo what you need to work on and stuff like that. So it was just for myself and for fun, covers, the usual stuff. But then I've been privileged to have all these artists wanting me to record for their songs and stuff. And during the ECQ, there's been more of that because, of course, people have been writing, people have been collaborating and stuff. And yeah, to be tapped for these projects, it was a great privilege during this time. Keeping myself busy with those and getting paid is because this is something I do for free. This is something I do for the love of it. But to like to like have an income out of it is something
Yeah.
that is so like
Mhm.
I don't know. Sobrang blessing siya. And aside from that, I also get to teach um, online. Some former students who I used to teach personally, I now teach online. And then I've been blessed to be part of this AMP, Applied Music Program. Because in CCF, I used to teach in CCF, Life Academy,
Mhm.
back in 2018. And I had a boss. And then si, you, his name is Sir Reginald. And then Sir Reginald came up with this platform na online na we don't have to be dependent on Zoom and stuff. Talagang own platform siya by itself. And yung mga teachers na before, he hired to partake in that. So, yun, ang daming ano eh, ang daming ways pa rin to be relevant as a musician in this pandemic. So yeah, more of recording and teaching. Tapos live performing, merong here and there, like minsan may opportunities si Moira for pre-recorded gigs. Like with Toyota, we had one in August. Tapos meron din kaming Coke studio.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, uh, kasi my three main things were ano eh, recording, live performance, and teaching. So I could say medyo namatay talaga muna yung live performance. So
Yeah.
focus ako sa recording and teaching during this time. And sobrang grateful ako to have opportunities to do that.
Okay, you mentioned about teaching, and I'm very interested with that because I believe when you know when God gave you a talent and you're able to teach it, then that's really gonna help everybody. The question is,
Mm.
student drummers, what are your tips? Especially those,
Tips.
they they think they have it and then they want to start learning. What are your tips?
Mga gusto magsimula, number one, it's the most important. Figure out why. Like it all starts with why. Why you want to learn the instrument. What are you gonna do with it? Pwede naman as simple as you just want to try it, you know, and it could be deep as you want to use it for God's kingdom. Alam mo yun, it could be anything, but please start with why. Yun. So, two, you gotta be prepared for the grind. You gotta practice, especially for those doing it full time. For those who wanna do it full time, this isn't like a fairy tale job. Na everything is so enjoyable. I get to play music every day. No, it's not like that. Everything, actually, everything will start to get frustrating
Mm-hmm.
after a certain point, and which frustration you're willing to put up with. So does that make sense?
Yes.
Because it's practicing every day. It's not really enjoyable.
Yeah.
It gets frustrating. It gets tiring. I get burned out. So, but it's how you handle yourself during those times, especially kasi yung mga high points, like ilang percent lang ba yan ng life mo, like 2%.
Mm-hmm.
Alam mo yun, everything. Then the 98% is practicing in your own time and for getting frustrated, and
Yeah.
it's how you handle yourself during those moments that will really matter,
Mm-hmm.
not the high points. It's really those low points. So you gotta be prepared for the grind. um what else? Number
Last.
three, okay yung magaling ka. It's good to be like skilled,
Mm-hmm.
but I could say character is more important. So kung magaling ka pero hindi ka mabuting tao, walang mangyayari.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and being part of a worship team kasi naririnig yan eh, 'di ba? Kapag yung
Mm.
week mo is you're affected by your whole week
Yeah, yeah.
and then magli-lead kayo ng worship on a Sunday. Lalo sa practice, 'di ba? Everybody's more open with everybody. So pag practice pa lang parang you're draggy and all. Napapansin yan eh, 'di ba?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And not just a worship team. As in even kasi ako I always had this thought in my mind that everything, even secular, even when I perform secular, it's all worship to me. So talagang when I play, it comes from here. So kahit sobrang totoo yung sinabi mo kasi kahit sa worship team man or hindi, when I'm going through something,
Mm.
rinig siya. Rinig siya sa bawat palo. So, yeah.
Yeah, and the drummer is very important kasi if you um, start with the wrong beat, 'di ba?
Yeah.
The wrong rhythm, apektado yung buong kanta.
Yeah.
Okay, my last
Definitely.
question for you is for those who are not so young anymore, but they're very interested to learn drums. Is it too late? Can they still try?
Of course. Yeah, definitely. It's never too late. Relatively late ako nag-start, around 15,
Mm-hmm.
16. wait, sorry, math. 2020, 28, 12, 15 pala, 15,
Okay.
yeah. So that yeah, you some could say that's still early, but relatively to those who started at 3, 4, you got legends right now who started at that age. So nakaka-insecure. Kahit ako nung una parang nai-insecure ako na I started late, wala na akong future dito. Pero no eh. It's never too late. Na-inspired din ako with this drummer from Nashville na I forgot his name. I read this summer lang.
Mm-hmm.
He started at 21 and at the age of 27, that's 6 years, he was one of the main session drummers na in Nashville. So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of pioneers started their their thing past the age of 40, you know. And it's never too late, I could say.
Right. Luke, your message to the other independent musicians out there that's greatly affected by the pandemic. What's your advice to them? What's your message to
Advice. Kasi I'm starting with a thought na who am I to give advice?
them?
Kasi uh
I think you can start with you're a fellow musician who's affected by this. Diba?
sige. Um as a fellow musician who's been crippled by
There we
this
go.
pandemic, um yeah, I can relate to everyone that it's been hard, it's been really um incapacitating, but I'd like to encourage everyone to, of course, first go back to the purpose of why you did this in the first place, and find ways to really stay relevant during this time. And right now that's online. Whether we like it or not, um social media is something to be used. Of course, may extremes dyan eh, di ba? Parang mafe-feel mo din na ang dangers ng social media, but at the same time, um it's something that can be used especially by musicians right now to stay relevant in terms of online teaching, marketing yourself, collaborating with other people, um basta having those opportunities. Social media is the main thing right now. So um yeah, there are ways. Kahit sobrang crippled tayo, there are ways to stay relevant. And also, I know of people who who did other stuff for now,
Mm-hmm.
like businesses, other opportunities. And there's no shame in that because we operate in seasons, diba? So ako din, there will be times that I will take a break from music and maybe do other things muna to na-foresee ko yung mga ganun pag nagkaanak ako, for
Mm-hmm.
example, baka lang I will need to do other stuff. So yeah, it's seasonal eh. Talagang we need to uh we need to keep in mind that the world we live in operates in seasons. So kung magbe-break ka sa music, it doesn't mean nag-stop ka na, 'di ba? So, yeah, we need to find ways to stay relevant and really go back every single day
Yeah.
to the purpose of why we do this. 'Di ba? Why do you practice? Why do you network? Why do you want to stay relevant? So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Right. Last last two questions for you. Top three Christian songs that you love to listen to right now.
Right now,
Mm-hmm.
What a Beautiful Name has always been like top 1
Okay.
ever since it got released in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Pray favorite ko yan. Number 2 and 3, medyo tricky kasi, ang dami magaganda eh.
Okay. Bawal from Victory Worship.
Waymaker, bawal. Sige. Waymaker,
Okay. Last one.
This is Amazing Grace. Yo, yun na lang.
Still Wickham.
Nagbabata lang ako out of the top of my head. So,
All right.
This is
Okay.
Amazing Grace then is
Yeah.
something that a lot of students wanna learn. So, sobrang na-stuck siya sa head ko. Tapos, wala. I love the song. So, yeah, I've been teaching that song a lot. So,
Oo nga, no? Maganda yung beat nung song na yan. Okay, last question.
yeah.
Person from Bible history that you wanna have lunch with.
Ah, si Job.
Why?
Grabe yung ano niya eh, yung pinagdaanan niya eh. Kasi, I wanna ask, like, syempre, sa Book of Job, hindi naman detailed lahat, like every single moment of his life, diba?
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about years of going through that, and parang parang it wasn't perfect, but at the end, grabe pa rin yung naging response niya after all of those. So, parang having lunch with him would be great kasi matatanong ko siya, parang every single day, how was it like? You know, what were your thought processes? And like, ano yung mga conversations mo with God? And how did you end up like that at the end? Ano mo, alam mo yun? Because it's a really great life story. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, Luke, thank you very much for everything you shared to us in this program. I'm sure all the other musicians, other drummers out there have been encouraged to just continue playing the music for God with their instruments, for their voices. Hey, everybody, once again, this is James of the Daily Grind. I was with the independent drummer playing for Victory Worship in Morel de la Torre, Luke Sigua, telling us about his journey with God through music. This is the Daily Grind, and this is Saved Radio.
taking back the airwaves for Jesus.
All right, thanks, Luke. Have a great day.
Thank you, James. Have a great day also.